Everyone, Counterattack back on the road this week. We're in Greenwich, Connecticut. We're coming up with a brand new show next. Hi everyone, Greg Mescall here. Welcome to the Greenwich YMCA in Greenwich, Connecticut. We're on location this week for the USA Women's National Team as they play Game 2 of a 3-game series with Hungary. If you've been following Team USA, you know the results from earlier this week in Miami. And a great look here at Greenwich, Connecticut, just outside the YMCA. There we are. Little difficulties here to get going as we get underway on our first live Counterattack on Facebook. Thanks for joining us here. So again, we're inside the Greenwich YMCA. USA Hungary coming up in just a couple of hours. We'll have that game for you live on youtube.com/USAWP. Team USA and Hungary both headed to the Olympic Games. Both women's teams have qualified, and they played this past Monday evening down in Miami at Ransom Everglades. We're going to get to highlights from that match in just a moment. Want to let you know what's coming up here on the rest of the show. We're going to be joined live by a couple of guests. USA Women's National Team head coach Adam Krikorian. Big honor announced for him this week. We'll get to that later on, along with national teamer and now 2016 Olympian KK Clark. Also planning to talk with local water polo coach from Greenwich High School, Chris Vidal. So a lot on the way, including our weekly social media send-off. But first, let's go back down to Miami and the highlights from a dominant win for the USA women. They took it to Hungary 13-6 in South Florida. Vidal dragged down. Matthewson fires it in with less than a second to play. United States in front 4-2. Nothing there, an ordinary. And a score 5-4 as Buyukai has another. The lefty is dangerous from the outside. Now Vidal. Rachel Vidal with 6 on the clock. She'll give it a look. Steffens, maybe another. It'll come to Vidal. She's on the money. The World Championship MVP from a year ago delivers for a 7-4 lead. Ending Hungary with the numbers. Hungarians on the move. A little pitch and catch. And Johnson there for a swat. Not having it here at Ransom Everglades. 1:30 to go. Fourth quarter. Good look inside. Vidal.
They're going to put these balls away.
And speaking of putting shots away, Buyukai with her 4th.
The U.S. Women's Olympic Water Polo team in town for an exhibition game against Hungary, swimming in the Anson Pool at Ransom Everglades High School. U.S. goalie is a local girl, Ashley Johnson. She went to high school at Ransom. U.S. with the white caps, they dominated this game. U.S. beat Hungary 13-6. The water polo team plays 6 exhibition games before the Olympics begin in August in Rio.
It felt really great. We definitely got a lot of energy from the crowd, and it was great to have my family and all my friends here to support me and let my team show what we're made of.
USA, minor league baseball in Montana. For these two managers, it's all about the show.
What a cool scene down there in Miami, and a big win for Team USA, 13-6. A homecoming for Ashley Johnson from 2008-2012. That was her home pool, Ransom Everglades. She won 3 state championships there in the state of Florida. They've continued to go on to be one of the most dominant programs in the state. They just won the state championship again in girls water polo in 2016. Even cooler for Team USA, so much local media coverage. So you saw a little taste of it there from Channel 7, the Fox affiliate in town, talking with Ashley afterwards. But NBC6, the affiliate for NBC in Miami, also on hand, the CBS channel coming through, Miami Herald. Lots of coverage. Everyone wanted to talk about Ashley Johnson and the homecoming, the story back in Miami, and they all got to talk about that. Team USA going to Rio, and of course a big win. Here's some of the coverage from the local affiliates in town.
We're really coming together as a team. We're getting the good passes that we want to get. We're making nice setups. We're getting blocks. I think we're coming together. We definitely still have stuff to work on, but we're getting ready.
Meanwhile, the U.S. women's water polo team got in some work over the weekend as they prepared for today's game against Hungary. They trained at Ransom Everglades High School right here in South Florida. That's where Ashley Johnson graduated. She is the goalie of Team USA, officially selected to head to Rio a couple of weeks ago. She's the first African-American woman to make an Olympic water polo team.
Congrats to her. 6:20.
Awesome stuff there from the local TV crews. We appreciate all of them coming out to cover Team USA. So a strong start for the USA Hungary series, a 13-6 victory for Team USA at Ransom Everglades. The series continues tonight. We're here in Greenwich, Connecticut. USA Hungary coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a sellout. Expecting this pool deck behind me to be completely jam-packed. They've got their horns ready as well as we get set to kick things off here at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll have live coverage at youtube.com/USAWP and, of course, live updates via Twitter at USAWP. More to come here on the Counterattack. We're live on location in Greenwich, Connecticut. Coach Adam Krikorian will join us along with defender KK Clark. Stay with us. We're back after this to Greenwich after these commercials.
Best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. And welcome back here to Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm now joined by a special guest here, Dr. Narration Ral, fresh off the plane from China with our men's senior national team. First of all, Narration, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I just literally woke up about 12 hours ago because that's China time.
So we're catching you before the jet lag comes
Yes.
in and knocks you out for the night.
Yes.
First things first, we've talked to you in the past on the Counterattack, authoring a recent book, Step Up Your Game. How has that been going? What's been the response since that book came out earlier this year?
Yeah, so far the book has been taken over a lot of different training programs. Certainly my emphasis is water polo, but there's so many other sports that it applies to. So we're actually expanding it into tennis, expanding it into football, actually into high school athletics now. So, and we're actually doing research on it now at my medical school as a way to retrain doctors in order to be performance doctors. So it's been pretty exciting.
And what's been the reaction? I imagine writing a book is probably a pretty cool feeling, and to kind of have it and hold a physical copy in your hands. People that maybe, just friends that can maybe care less about the intricacies of the book, but just think, hey, my buddy Naresh wrote a book. What's kind of that response been?
Well, I certainly feel embarrassed, honestly. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, all this attention. But it certainly just needed to get off my chest, and that's what really was the impetus to write the book. But so far, everyone's been supportive, and especially USA Water Polo. Certainly, you've done some great props. Thanks for all your support.
Of course.
Yeah.
So as far as your role, I think people might be curious. You're the team doctor, especially with the men's senior national team. On a typical trip, what are you doing? What is the day-to-day? I'm sure a lot of it depends on what comes up with the team, but what's kind of your role at a major event? You were just at the Super Final with the men.
Yeah, well, the role does take it's a multifaceted approach. First, it's about safety. Secondly, it's about performance. Third, it's about prevention. So if we're able to combine all those roles and have it embody in one person, that's what the team doctor does. So today here, I'll be here to make sure that everyone's safe.
Sure.
And then, of course, if anyone needs to get back in the game, make sure to get them back as soon as possible without incurring harm. And then also later on, knowing there's another game on Saturday at Fordham, to make sure they can play that game.
The teams, of course, have trainers, and they do a lot of the day-to-day work at practice. But from your standpoint, what's that feeling like when you've been able to kind of work with the other medical professionals on the team and maybe get someone back to where they want it to be, or kind of help prevent something from happening, keeping people healthy longer?
Yeah, the trainers are the front line. Larney, who works with the women, and Carling, who works with the men, also Balsha, who works with the men. We have so many interactions, and they're my hands. They're the day-to-day. They're in the trenches. They're doing the things that quite honestly take a lot of time. It's a thankless job, and they do a very good job at it, and I can't thank them enough. But if they have any questions, I'm there to support them and to bring in the general medical stuff as well.
And now you, like many of the athletes, perhaps your day-to-day not as strenuous, but you are gearing up for Rio, looking ahead to the Olympics. What is that like for you? Where does that rank as far as professional accomplishments and among the world of doctors and medical professionals? I'm sure it's something you're pretty proud to be doing come this August.
Well, it's certainly an honor. This was definitely the accolade for any sports medicine doctor's career, or any doctor's career as far as I'm concerned. But the ability to serve one's country, to see and hear the flag and hear our national anthem, there's nothing like it. So it is a very humbling opportunity. Certainly it was excellent to be selected, and yes, it does take a lot of time and effort to get to that point. But yeah, we'll be there together, right?
Excellent. That is the idea. Yes, I will have a much less serious role than Narration. If someone comes to me with some sort of injury, I will be of zero help to them. I will just actually point them in your direction.
Well, gladly.
And we talked about the book briefly. Last thing, best way for someone to get a hold of that, and kind of your elevator pitch. If someone says, "Hey, you wrote a book," and you have 3 floors, tell them what it's about. What's kind of your overall pitch on the book, and how can someone get a copy?
Yeah, well, it's about taking your game from point A to point B, no matter what walk of life, no matter what gender, no matter what level of sport you're at. This is going to help you, and you can pick it up really anywhere: Barnes & Noble, Amazon, iTunes. I saw it on Nook and Kindle too. So really, you can pick it up anywhere.
Excellent. Dr. Narration Ral, always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for stopping by. We'll take another quick time out. We're going to talk more water polo here. We're live on location, the Counterattack in Greenwich, Connecticut. We are back after this. Stay with us.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org.
you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. And back here in Greenwich, Connecticut at the Greenwich YMCA, and our list of guests rolls right along. KK Clark spending some time with us, fresh off the team minivan into the pool here before warm-ups get started. Thanks for stopping by.
Of course. Happy to be here.
First, I think people will be curious to know. Maybe they've seen it if they come to a game, but just tell us what happens. Obviously, we've taken you a bit out of the routine, but when you get off that van, you guys come here for a game, what goes on until the ball drops?
Yeah, we usually just gather as a team. We might have a little bit of free time before we start our game warm-up, and Larnie, our trainer, leads us in a little dry land warm-up. We do the same thing before every game, and we do some floor-based stuff, and then we get up and move around a little bit, and then we go and get our suits on, and we have our in-water warm-up, so we do that, and then we meet as a team right before the game, and have a little bit of a team meeting, and we hop in and get ready to go.
Do you do anything in particular that is unique to KK Clark before a game?
No. I think it's important to be flexible,
Okay.
but I do my band warm up with Kylie Neuschel every time.
And you mean flexible, not like physically flexible, but like mentally, like
I
be
wish
ready for
I could be
anything.
physically flexible,
Yeah.
but yeah, just if you're too hard in a routine, if something goes awry, or if there's something out of your control, you don't want that to be able to mess you up. At least that's what I think mentally.
Did that happen at some point in your life? Did you have this like set routine and then it all got screwed up?
No,
Okay.
but I just know myself well enough to know that if I did and I was set on that one thing, and I'm a perfectionist, so
Sure.
if I wasn't able to get that thing down and it somehow got away from me, it would mess me up a little bit.
So you're in this series with Hungary. You played one game so far. You have one more game tonight, and then of course a game on Saturday. The results would be great to get wins. Losses won't make or break you either. What are the expectations? What are the things you hope to get out of a 3-game series like this with a team you know you'll see in the Olympics?
I think for us, it's really important just to see them. They weren't a team that was at World League Super Final, and the last time we played this team in a big moment game was in 2015 World Championships in that play-in game to get into the quarterfinals.
Sure.
So for us, it's just important to be familiar with their players, get refamiliarized with some of their players that we have seen, because their coaching staff changed as well, and so we don't know if they're going to have different things come the Olympics. But it's important for us to see them, get a feel for them, learn their tendencies, and write those down, remember those for the Olympics.
Sure. Put them in the mental notebook.
Exactly.
Talking about the Olympics, and it's not like a taboo thing to talk about it, but there is this kind of thing before you know you're on an Olympic team, or people are kind of a bit cagey to discuss it because you're still trying to figure out if you're going to make it. Now that you know that part has been decided,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? What do you think when you start seeing the Rio commercials and all the Olympic hype?
I think because I'm still in this process and in such a way, I'm a little bit detached from it still. But when I do see it, it's a little bit of a surreal moment because in 2012, I was watching those commercials knowing I wasn't a part of the team. I had just graduated from UCLA and didn't know I was going to continue to play. And watching that team was really inspirational for me. And I've always been a huge fan of the Olympics. So knowing that I'm going to be participating in them is still a little weird for me to think about. I think as there's certain moments when it becomes more and more real. So it's still a little bit of a shock when I think about it, but it's good. It's good to be kind of just still in this little bubble that we have.
I want to go back to a couple of days. One, the kind of the media day to name the team, but then prior to the day you actually find out you are named to the Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
People probably don't have much of a clue of how that process goes on. Obviously, there's all the training that leads up to it, evaluation. But tell me, as much as you want to share, what the day was like when you learned when Adam tells you you're actually going to be an Olympian, and kind of your reaction.
Yeah, well, we knew the day it was going to happen, and I think, we had. You can't think about that, months and months beforehand. But we had a tournament, the World League Superfinal tournament in China. That was a really big tournament for me and everyone on this team. And I think after that final whistle blew in that final game, I kind of knew that I had done everything that I possibly could to put myself in a position to be named to the team. And you could be the best player in the world, and he doesn't have to pick you. So it's kind of there's so much out of your control that I was able to kind of just have peace with it. However, the morning of that day, I think I almost threw up in practice, like 2 or 3 times. I was just so nervous.
So you practiced half a day of practice, and then you find out.
Yeah. So we had morning practice where we kind of had a swim set, and there wasn't too much thinking involved in that practice, thankfully. Sure. But during the swims, I had a few different adrenaline rushes, and I was just kind of laughing at myself. But
so there wasn't the chance to say I'm going to bring out this crazy shot I've been saving. I'm going to make the team.
No. And at the end of the day, you make the team. It's a culmination of everything you've done. It's not just one moment here, one moment there. It's kind of just your entire story. But yeah, it was a really nerve-wracking day. My whole family knew it was that day, and so everyone was kind of waiting to hear from me or not hear from me. On my family, no news is good news. That's kind of our thing. But obviously, I had to reach out to them when I found out. And there was an opportunity to play some really awful, mean tricks, but it wasn't the moment. So I was able to tell privately everyone in my family before the team was announced the next day.
So I know that Coach has kind of individual meetings with each of you. So he sits you down and starts going over kind of your water polo life here and tells you made it. When you hear that, does it sink in right away? What was your reaction to that?
Well, it's funny because we're all dreamers, and I'm kind of a big daydreamer, so I imagined him telling me multiple times that I had made the team, and that was really exciting. But also, you have to protect yourself mentally in a way and be ready for it to go the opposite way. So I had kind of imagined what it would feel like, but I never really understood. And he was really quiet I sat down and he was really quiet for a while, and I just wanted to be like, just say it, just tell me at this point, I don't want to wait any longer. And he congratulated me, and I kind of just put my head in my hands, and obviously there's a ton of emotion involved in a message like that, so it was really cool. I definitely was in shock, and then it became more and more real. The more people I told, the more I said it out loud, I think. But I think there's also, I've heard, I've talked to Courtney, who had that injury before 2012, and she didn't feel like an Olympian until the first whistle blew in the first game. So there's a lot of things still to be done in these preparation games, and I think there's multiple moments along the road that you kind of realized that you're an Olympian. So. And
then do you run out of that office and just pump your fist and run to your car and scream, or
no.
Is it more subdued than that?
No, it was subdued because everyone was finding out that day.
Sure.
And, it was something that we shared as a team in the afternoon when you came back to practice, but it was everyone. I think if he could have just had all of us in a single room and gone one by one, he probably would have. But I think I kind of got out of there pretty quickly and just got to my car. And
do you call Mom right away, Dad, or is it
that was a tough one? I was in the car. I was like, I don't know, Mom or Dad. I called Dad first.
Okay.
And Yeah, he was great. He was really supportive. I wanted a little more emotion from him.
Yeah, step it up, Dad.
Step it up. No, but he was just really proud. And my mom was my favorite, though. When I called her, she just burst into tears because this whole time people at home are doing the same thing for us, where it's the team qualified for the Olympics, and a lot of friends and family who are away from this process assumed that we individually qualified for the Olympics. And so people had been congratulating me already for a long time, and that's always the awkward conversation where it's like, well, I don't know yet. So she had been dealing with that at home, a lot of people saying those things. She's like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, every day I have to tell people, like, you still don't know. And so I think with her, she felt the same, maybe not quite the same relief, but she felt a relief and a joy similar to my own.
It was interesting before you talked about kind of being at peace with the whole process and how you could be thinking about it every day, but you kind of got to a point where you felt okay with it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm talking out of school here to say that you had to work to get on this team. Not that everyone doesn't have to work, but let's say, for example, I felt pretty good Maggie Steffens was going to make the roster based off how she did in London. That maybe wasn't the case for you.
No.
There were some rosters last summer that you weren't necessarily on. So how did you kind of rationalize that in your mind and still stay positive every day when you came to the pool?
For me, the experience I went through in the summer of 2015, being left off that World Championship roster, was super painful at first. Kind of, up until that point, I had been on every roster, and this whole process, it tests everyone in an individual and in a team way, but that was probably my turning point just as a person, in the sense that I was sort of faced with the confrontation realization that there's a chance you don't make this at the end, and I kind of had to make a choice how I wanted to respond to that, if I wanted to come back and really compete and put it on the line every single day, or just be content with, being off the roster. And while a lot of that is out of my control, I think I tried to control what I could and get myself back in the mix. And for me, though, that whole experience really liberated me mentally, and it was one of those things that I still enjoyed, being in Kazan, being with the team, being in the stands, being with all the staff so much, that at that moment I realized that I was going to enjoy this no matter if I was on a final roster or off of it. And that the 13 that go to Rio, we really represent the 16, 17 girls that have been training with us this last year. And that's really important to never forget all those girls who put the work in with us at home, because without them, we wouldn't be the team we are. And so being one of those girls, I kind of saw that side of things and how difficult it can be. So it's made me really sensitive to the whole process, but I think just that liberation, I honestly felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders in a way, which is kind of backwards thinking, but it allowed me to just kind of go out and play and not worry about, it was kind of like the thing I feared the most had happened, and it didn't kill me. So, there's only from here to go, just put your best foot forward.
There you go. Very, very, very well said. On some lighter topics, as opposed to the heavy talk of making a roster. But I think a lot of people, this is just kind of a goofy thing, but you're KK Clark, but everyone watches international games, and here's Caroline Clark.
I know.
Where does the KK come from? Let's just kind of get it out there.
I know, we need to get it out there, because all my social media handles are KK Clark. That's how I identify myself.
Yes.
Caroline with a C.
Yeah.
My name technically should be Cece if we're chopping it down to 2 letters.
Sure.
But Caroline came from, I'm the youngest of 3 girls, and my family called me Cakes. It started as Baby Cakes. And then when I grew up and wasn't a baby anymore, it just turned into Cakes. And I really think one point in kindergarten or first grade, I took the initiative to then nickname myself KK.
Sure.
And it could have come from my oldest sister, Elizabeth, goes by ZZ. So I think I wanted to be like her and change my name. It was KAY-KAY.
Because she's ZIZI,
She is ZIZI, yeah. So we really go with, like, the quirkier the better.
Yeah.
And I'm just KK. So Facebook's annoying because they make me put periods between each letter, which I don't like to do. But otherwise, it's not a real name to them. So it's KK. And I actually have a question in for Jen, our manager. I'm like, can I put my name KK on the roster at the Olympics?
It's a good question. I think that ship may have sailed,
No.
but we'll have to take a look into that.
Yeah.
At least maybe on television they will call you KK Clark, and that'll be kind of half the battle.
Yes.
So, but good for you sticking up for yourself, kind of figuring out what you want it to be called. You touched on Facebook. This is our first kind of Facebook Live show, so I appreciate everyone watching the Counterattack. You are obviously one that is interested in social media. You like
Yeah.
Instagram and, of course, Twitter. What is that like when you're able to connect with people? We saw it in Miami. Your team swarmed after a game. People wanting autographs, photos. We've seen it here today already in Greenwich. People get that picture with you, and then they immediately go home and they put it on Instagram and say, "I'm at KK Clark USA," and they tag you. For someone like you and the rest of the team, what's that feeling like to kind of really interact with your fans nationwide?
It's really cool. I mean, I really, really enjoy it because it's a really long time ago, but at one point we were all there. Like we were at lunch today with some of the Greenwich club kids, and I turned to Ashley Johnson and I was like, you know what's so funny? I think I have a bag at home signed by Coralie Simmons. And Ashley giggled and she was like, oh, I have stuff signed by Dan Klatt for sure. You know, like we had all done like camps or just see them in passing, and we have all gotten things signed, and now I'm a teammate with Coralie for the New York Athletic Club, and obviously Ashley plays for Dan, and we have much closer relationships than we did at the time. And so it kind of got me thinking, like, I wonder if I'll like really know any of these girls much more closely in the future.
So those handles, Twitter's at KK Clark USA.
Yes.
And Instagram, same thing?
No. Instagram is KK.Clark.
KK.Clark. So everyone get out
much
there.
more simple.
Yeah. Quickly get on your phones, follow KK on all those devices. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Of course.
Good luck today against Hungary, and then again on Saturday against Fordham. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, Greg.
KK Clark about to go through the warm-up she just told us about. She's going to do some dry land stuff and everything else. And then we'll have the game at 7 o'clock. We'll take a timeout now and return to more live counterattack here from Greenwich, Connecticut. Stay with us.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Welcome back live, counterattack here from Greenwich, Connecticut. And we start with some news for water polo athletes. The UCLA Hall of Fame out this week. You'll recognize that person on the right. That's Natalie Gold and now Natalie Benson. told you the last couple of weeks, now the new head coach at Fresno State, but a obvious choice, along with B. Diddy there, Baron Davis for the UCLA Hall of Fame, and then Adam Krikorian also joining the UCLA Water Polo Hall of Fame. Natalie, as we touched on, multiple-time NCAA champ, 2-time Olympic medalist. Adam, we know his exploits with the national team, but of course highly successful at UCLA as a student-athlete and as a coach. 5 straight titles with the women's water polo team. He left the program, and from Westwood to Greenwich, he joined us right now. Adam Krikorian stopping by. First, I know you just love to talk about yourself. Congrats on the UCLA Hall of Fame honors.
Thank you. It's honestly, it's a bit strange because I've always envisioned a Hall of Famer as someone who's kind of retired, sitting on the couch, eating some potato chips.
Yep.
I'm obviously not doing any of those. I feel like I have a lot left in me and a lot to give still. But it's quite an honor. Maybe not quite as great of an honor as some of those great athletes that are on there.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a different class as coaches, a little bit lower of a class. But certainly a great honor nonetheless. And I was a little hesitant to actually accept it in the beginning because it's almost overwhelming right now.
Yeah.
With everything going on and trying to stay focused on this. But once Rio's over, I'm sure I'll have a little bit more time to reflect.
And it's got to be cool to go in with Natalie, someone that you recruited and coached.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, anyone who knows Natalie knows just obviously she's a great water polo player, but a real special person, and it's an honor to share this honor with her, and I'm sure we'll both have a very fun evening on September 30th, I believe.
Very cool. So congrats there. Now we turn our attention to Team USA. We're here in Greenwich, Connecticut, the second of a 3-game East Coast swing. I think the first question is, why come to the East Coast? What do you get out of it? It's taking you away from your training base. You could easily probably play 3 games somewhere in Orange County. Why make the effort to come out here?
Well, I love California. Obviously, I'm a California boy, but we need to get out. I'd love to do this more.
Sure.
The more we can do this, I think it's better for the growth of our sport. We're trying to, we feel like our role is we're more than just trying to do well and stand on top of the podium. We want to be ambassadors of the sport, and it's our job to inspire the youth of America and the youth in our sport and all over the country. And this is a great opportunity. Obviously, this little tiny community has been very supportive of USA Water Polo and has been a good water polo community, and we want to give back to them and again inspire some young kids. And it's been great so far. The time in Florida was obviously fabulous, and this game, I'm sure it's going to be great. And this little venue here is going to be wonderful, and it's going to be great to be in New York City as well.
We go back to Monday night in Miami, the house that Ashley Johnson built, as you called it, at Ransom Everglades. What do you make of that scene? Just overwhelming love for one person. It seemed as if the whole town came out to really cheer her on, friends, rivals, as she said, and you guys obviously put in a good performance, but it really seemed to be a special moment for her and her family.
Yeah, it was incredible, honestly. We obviously want to help grow the sport in that area, but we also went out there, to be quite frank, we went out there to give Ashley an opportunity to play in front of her family and her friends and her hometown. And I've talked about it a lot at length today. I mean, I can't stop getting calls from reporters.
Yes, you're welcome.
And people who are interested in her and her story. And the one really unique thing is obviously she's the one player out of our 13 that is outside the state of California. And people, I think even our team take for granted how close and how lucky they are to have their family so close and to be able to travel 15 minutes. Some of them live at home, or at most they're traveling on an airplane for an hour.
Sure.
And Ashley is so close with her family. She's got 4 other siblings and her mom, who somehow amazingly raised these 5 amazing kids. And for her to get that opportunity to be there and to see all the love and support that she's gotten, and just even be able to go over to her house and spend some time with her entire family was really eye-opening and very special, and not just for her, but for our whole team.
We touched on the UCLA thing a little bit ago, and you certainly had a strong fan base there, and they have a strong fan base at all athletics. You have a home game, a lot of people show, and they cheer, and they do the clap and everything. But How do you explain the support for Team USA when you go around different areas and you have people that are playing this game in different communities? They seem almost awestruck sometimes, especially when you get outside of California or even Fresno area where you went, other spots. To get near you, to get near the athletes, it has got to be a humbling experience.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to diss our area of California, but sometimes I feel like our athletes are taken for granted.
Sure.
To be quite honest, you know, we go. I mean, we train in a pool, and there's, you know, little 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds right next to us that I don't even think they think twice about. Hey, you're right next to the best water polo team in the world, and some of the best athletes in the world. But when we go outside of California, the reception that we get. I mean, when we were in Texas, obviously when we were in Florida, since we've been here, I mean, the reception we get is just, it's unlike anything. And for us and for our team, it is great to feel that. It's great to feel that sense of pride for our country. It's great to feel that warmth. And, you know, I know California, I know the games that we have upcoming in Russia are going to be very, very well attended since it's so close to the Olympics. But it's certainly just it's a different environment, honestly, out here, and it's great to feel that support.
You're just coming off picking this team. These games are the first game since you figured out your roster.
Right.
We just talked with KK Clark, and she kind of took us through the day, and you have these meetings and things of that nature to kind of inform everyone. What is that process like for you when you go through it? Is it a sense of relief? Is it an agonizing day? How do you describe it?
I don't know. I think it's a great day for the 13 that make it. It's a miserable day for me, to
Sure.
be perfectly honest. I don't. I certainly get some joy in telling those that made it, but you know, I could tell 30 people that they made it, but if I have to tell one person that they didn't, it's not a good. It's a really tough situation, and it's tough because you grow to respect and love every single one of them, and you know how much time and effort that they put into this process, and how meaningful they are to the group still, even if they didn't make it. We couldn't do it without every single person, and we've had 17 that have been involved in our training, and each one of those players are phenomenal players. I mean,
Sure.
We're talking about and as I've said to all of them, and I think I've said publicly, I really felt like I could go any direction, and I still feel like we have the tools to be able to be successful.
Well, and you did. I mean, you picked other rosters and you still won gold medals. So
right, and that proves a lot. So
Sure.
It's tough. That makes it more difficult. But if you're in the situation where if you feel like you're going to make a couple changes and it's going to cost you, then it becomes a little bit easier. But
Sure.
this pill was a little bit tougher to swallow. But you know, ultimately very happy for the group, and it's nice to move past that and get focused on Rio.
Just one more thought on that. You have people on the team that maybe even going back a couple of years, you probably felt in your own mind pretty good about them making this Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Cammie starts at center for you.
Yeah.
Odds are she was going to make it.
Yeah.
Then you have other players. KK sat here and said, look, it wasn't a given. You know, I had to, really work, and there was a roster I didn't make, and then I came back and made another. How do you make it special for everyone? So, to me, someone like Cammie who's maybe sweating it out, but you're thinking in your head, well, come on, you're maybe the best center in the world. When you sit down and tell her, how do you keep it as special as the person who's a first-timer?
Well, I think the key to making it special is not what I do.
Yeah.
It's what they have done.
Sure.
And it's the time and the effort and all the ups and downs that they've put in over their entire career, and then specifically these last 3 years. And the more that you put in, the greater it feels, right? And I certainly have those individual meetings, which I think are important for the head coach to have, and to have that moment with that athlete to be able to tell them. But it's really not what I say. It's everything they've put in before. But it's amazing. I'm just blown away every time we do it of their response. And again, someone like Cammie Craig, who this is her third Olympics. She's one of the best centers in the world. I don't think anyone's ever questioned whether she's going to make this team or not.
Sure.
And she's in tears.
Yeah.
And just overwhelmed with emotion and happiness and joy. And that just shows you how much she's put in, how much it means to her. At the same time, how much she never takes anything like this for granted.
Yeah.
And when you have those type of athletes, it's just phenomenal to be
Obviously, there's a few more games to go, 5 including tonight, before you actually get down there. You start with Spain on August 9th. A lot of people, because the media hype is huge now as you're leading into this, you're doing a lot of interviews, and everyone kind of says, well, you won gold last time, that's kind of the goal this time. And you're like, well, yeah, of course. But when you think about the actual competition, are you able to look at it as a whole? Are you so kind of laser focused on August 9th and just Spain, kind of deal with the rest after? How are you kind of processing getting ready for the start of the play in Rio?
No, we're not just. I mean, we're not laser focused on the 9th. We realize that really the games are. It's almost 2 different tournaments, right?
Sure.
You have the first tournament is 3 games.
Yep.
And you want to do as well as you can. You want to get a feel for the venue. Obviously, although we were changing venues after the 3rd game.
Yeah.
But you want to get a feel for everything: the environment, the surroundings. Obviously, you want to get into a good rhythm, and then a new tournament starts when you get to the quarterfinal. Everyone's 0-0, and it's anyone's ball game, and you got to win the next 3 games. And so we're certainly going to be ready for that 9th. I mean, we're spending these couple months here kind of preparing for each team and spending a little bit of time on each team, and so we're ready to go. And then from there, it's again, I've said this before too. It's more about we're envisioning kind of how we want it to look like, what we want, the style of water polo, how we're going to play, how we're going to treat each other, the effort in which we're doing so, the resiliency in which we're playing, the focus in which we're playing. I mean, that's more of the stuff that we talk about. We don't talk about the wins or the losses, and as long as we can kind of narrow in our focus on that, I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
The talk of kind of getting back to the podium, getting on top of the podium comes up a lot because of the success you've had. I always love what Maggie Steffens kind of says, thinking back on London. Just because you did it once doesn't mean the dream has changed. She still wanted to be an Olympian again, even though she's been one once.
Yeah.
She still wants to be an Olympic gold medalist, even though she's done it once. And maybe the dream is realized again, but it just comes kind of in a different format. When you think on this Olympics, on paper, right? You've checked all the boxes there are to check. So how does this end that makes it any better than what's already happened, or is that not how you look at it?
Well, I think as competitors, you're always chasing perfection.
Yeah.
And whether it's at the Olympic Games or at the Junior Olympics, or
sure.
I mean, you want to be at your best when your best is needed. As Coach Woodard used to say, competitive greatness.
Yeah.
And that's what we're chasing. It's not chasing another gold medal. It's being the best when the best is needed. And again, if we do that, I think we'll be in good shape. And it helps when you have leaders like Maggie Steffens that have a great perspective and are able to focus and not let the success that we've had get to our heads, and continue to improve and develop as individuals and as a team.
And last thing, is Kevin Durant the key to the Golden State Warriors winning next year?
Well, I heard he's actually in the Hamptons.
Okay.
So that's where he's having his private meetings.
That's New York Knicks territory. I don't know.
Well, it's not too far from here, right?
Yeah.
So
not too far.
are
you going to get over there?
Exactly, right. After this game,
Yes.
I've scheduled a meeting with Kevin and his agent on behalf of the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And I'll be pitching. I'm going to bring a couple water polo suits, maybe a signed water polo ball.
Sure,
I think
sure.
that might be the deal that
should do it.
That should do it. That
Yeah,
should
yeah.
get him to the Warriors. We'll be set.
His schedules have been a difficult one to crack, so the fact that you're getting in the mix is huge.
Yeah, well, this is just between you and I, right?
Okay,
I mean,
yes,
this is not, okay.
And the 100,000 plus on Facebook that are
Exactly.
eligible to watch
my
this.
mom, my dad, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Gary checking in. Hey, well, thanks for stopping by, and good luck tonight against Hungary.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thanks,
Coach Krikorian headed to the USA Hall of Fame, but a couple of things coming up before that, like the Olympic Games. We're back with more Counterattack live from Greenwich after this.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Hi everybody, welcome back here to the Greenwich YMCA opening sprint coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern between Team USA and Hungary. Women's water polo action. Both teams headed to Rio. We'll have live coverage of the match, a live webcast at youtube.com/USAWP. Thanks to our guests thus far for joining us. We'll talk with two-time Olympic medalist Betsy Armstrong coming up here shortly. But first, we turn to the men's national team in a very successful trip to China at the FINA World League Super Final. Let's go to the highlights first. A shootout against Greece. McQuinn Barron, huge block in the shootout. And Team USA in the bench so fired up. Coach Dovicic has to hold them back. This is for a chance to go to the final, the gold medal game. Team USA has not reached the podium in the Super Final since 2008. Barron fired up. He didn't play in regulation. Merrill Moses got them into the shootout. And now Azevedo for the win to put Team USA into the gold medal final against Serbia. He gets the look and buries it, and a fist in the air. The captain fired up as he sends Team USA to victory 17-16, and they reach the podium no matter what would happen in the final against Serbia, taking on perhaps the best team in the world. The Serbs, the odds-on favorites going into the Olympic Games in Rio, and this match didn't go quite as well for Team USA as they took on Serbia. Early on, just couldn't put the ball away. Some shots from the outside being denied. And then, of course, Serbia turning to their lethal lefty, Filipovic, just burying shots from the outside. That the direct, and then watch this filthy lob right here. Filipovic gets up and just the changeup, putting it over Barron's head. Team USA trying to get back in action on the offensive end. A big delivery here from the outside, but Serbia up to the task on a denial there. And Serbia really surged ahead in this one. They'd get up 8-1 in the third quarter as Team USA a bit shell-shocked here in this gold medal final. Coach Dovicic not liking what he sees here early on. United States would eventually rally here on the offensive end, put together a strong second half, especially a fourth quarter, where they were able to string together 5 goals in the fourth. But as you can see here, just too much Serbian offense. This helped build that large lead. Eventually, they would get things clicking here. Alex Bowen able to connect. They're working around the perimeter. Good look here to, looks like Ben Halleck in close as he puts it away. And then another skip, Bonani on the near side bounce. But too much Serbia here, 10-6. They're going to win this one. Team USA, though, a silver, their first silver since the 2008 FINA World League Super Finals. So you got to like the result there if you are the USA men. They come out of China. They'll gear up for the Olympic Games coming up soon. And first things first for them, though, naming of their Olympic team. That'll be July 7th. On the deck of the USS Midway, going to be an awesome event down in San Diego. We'll have live coverage here on USA Water Polo TV. And then their final game before Rio, July 30th, University of Houston. They take on Montenegro, 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Tickets on sale at usawaterpolo.org. We've talked a lot about media coverage in this show. How about this? Tony Azevedo on the upcoming cover of Men's Health magazine. And the captain for Team USA gracing the cover. Lose your gut. Not a problem there for Tony, the Olympian headed to Olympic Games number 5, if you can believe it. So fantastic stuff there for Tony Azevedo. We also want to look ahead to the men's national team, their Olympic announcement, but then other events coming up in July. Junior Olympics on the way towards the end of the month. They'll head to Northern California. Stanford, of course, will play host to the championship matches. You can see the Session 1, Session 2 information here. Boys and girls, of course, mixed divisions as well. In between JOs, USA Women versus Russia at Stanford on July 27th. The Rumble to Rio tickets will going on sale today. We'll also have the U.S. Open of Water Polo prior to that, in addition to our Olympic Gala, the U.S. Open of Water Polo at the William Wood Aquatic Center coming up this July 15th through the 17th. As you can see there, the open age division, so some of the best in club water polo will be competing at the U.S. Open of Water Polo. And then that same weekend, July 16th, our Olympic Gala and National Awards in Irvine, California. So much coming up in the month of July. So much coming up right here in Greenwich. USA versus Hungary, 7 p.m. Eastern coming up. We're going to take a timeout right now and return. We'll talk with Betsy Armstrong, who's relocated to the area. We're back after this. You're watching the Counterattack live from Greenwich, Connecticut.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo, and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Greenwich YMCA, and we're joined now by a familiar face to water polo fans. It's been an hour of this, Betsy. I apologize. This is Betsy Armstrong. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, glad to be here.
This is an easy commute for you. You're a Greenwich resident now these days.
Yeah, my husband and I are living here, so it's a good place to be.
Tell me first about kind of your feelings. The Olympics are on the way. You have Team USA here in this pool. What is it like to have the squad competing where you're at and kind of seeing them play in front of a new area?
Oh man, it's really exciting. I think, it's not often enough that you get to see an Olympic team, let alone 2 Olympic teams, come to a place like Greenwich, Connecticut. And having grown up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, outside of California, I think it's just so critical for these young players to see such a high level of play.
Olympics on the way. What does it make you think of? You obviously played in 2 of them. When you start seeing the Rio commercials and getting all the hype, does it bring back memories? Do you get nostalgic for some particular moment? What kind of comes to mind?
Yeah, there's so much emotion that goes into it. It's funny that you say, when you see the commercials, because I was literally, I think I saw the first actual commercial when I was in Target. Sure. And it was, on, 16 screens across the electronics section. And,
yeah.
And I was just, I stopped and I was like, oh, my God, the Olympics. They're in a month. And, having a newborn, it's, my schedule in my life is a little bit all over the place. But, it's just, I'm so excited to watch. And, we just started watching trials, and I've been talking to Cammie, and, now that they're home from Super Final, they're really, starting to just look towards Rio, and there's going to be so much excitement, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
It's hard to believe it's been 4 years since the last Olympics when you and the team won the gold medal. When you think back on that now, and I'm sure people ask you about it, and you've been given talks and things like that, and talked to ODP kids, what is the first thing that kind of comes to mind? Do you talk about that final game, or is it the medal ceremony? What's the first thing that kind of comes up to you, and what do you remember most?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint, but I think for me the feelings that first start to bubble up are just my team, and just missing that, and being, surrounded by the people that you've spent
every waking second with preparing for, this journey and, getting to the Olympics. And it isn't about just one game. I mean, playing the entire course of the Olympic Games, having your on days, having your off days, and just, the focus and the single-mindedness that you have when you get there, and the group of people that you get to share that with is really special.
Do any particular plays kind of stand out to you, or like a save or a block or something like that, or does it all just meld together? Where is it in your mind?
I mean, it kind of melts together. It'll be interesting to see, because this will be the first, live game I've watched in a long time.
Sure.
And I've seen a couple webcasts here and there, and I think the first game will always stand out to me. That game that we played against the Hungarians,
sure.
And I think it was 14-13 or 13-12.
It was a high scoring affair, yeah.
Something like that. And so that one will always stick out to me as like, whoa, how did we get off to this kind of start?
Yeah.
But then just really being able to move forward from that and build from that throughout the course of the tournament, and that's just what I love so much about this sport. It's not just one day you're racing and you're done. You really have a chance to refocus and grow and move forward.
We talked with KK and about Adam about that day when you find out you're going, and you went through it twice, getting picked for an Olympic team. What are the memories that come back to you of those meetings? And you had it with two different coaches of when you found out I'm an Olympian.
Again, it's so hard to articulate, the feelings that go into that. But I mean, it's just this, you're overflowing with pride. I mean, it's like it's everything. It's not just. I mean, it is about pride for your country, and the opportunity to represent the United States of America is, an honor that many people don't get. But I think it's just, the pride of the effort that you've put into it and everything that it means, like the hard work, the grit that it takes to really put yourself through that process. I mean, it's so exhausting. I look back on, my almost 8 years on the team, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around how I was able to do that. I mean, as soon as you're out of it, I mean, you see what these girls put through, and just the, the day in and day out of that work ethic is something special.
I know now you're involved in coaching. You do some lessons. You're coaching ODP. We do have people that watch us that are up-and-coming athletes, and we often get the question, how do you get better at this or that? So I want to ask you two water polo specific kind of scenarios, and you just kind of give me your thoughts. Yeah. One, you're dealing with a penalty shot. What do you do? How do you block that ball? How did you block penalty shots the times you did?
Yeah, I mean it's hard. You got to watch the ball. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing for a goalkeeper, you got to take the pressure off of yourself, right? Sure. I think for a penalty shot, if the goalie makes a save, it's like you save the game, right? Yeah. But if the field player misses, I mean, it's like, whoa, you lost the game, man. So I think, being able to have fun with it and watch the ball, be quick, move forward as fast as you can, and just stay light on your hands and be explosive.
And then the other one, yeah, so just do
just
that.
all of those things.
But I think it's funny, the first thing is, and it's an obvious one, but watch the ball. But
yeah.
It sounds like, of course, but yeah, you're right. It's sometimes it's simpler than maybe people make it out to be. And you're, of course, the odds are heavily in favor of the shooter.
Right.
So you're right. If you are able to make a save, it's like you won the lottery a bit in some regards. Maybe not as minuscule odds, but and then a 2-on-1 coming at you. How do you kind of handle multiple people around on kind of a counterattack?
Yeah, so like a 2-on-1, communication is going to be key. Yeah. And I think you need to know, I stress this to my goalkeepers all the time. I mean, you have to, the best athletes in the world, I think, are the ones that know themselves through and through. And so you have to know your strengths and weaknesses. You need to know, like, how you want to set that shot up that's coming at you. And so looking at, where those two players are coming from, if there's one that's in a bad angle, one that's center cage, and being able to direct your defense and communicate to them. And a lot of that comes before the 2-on-1 even develops. Sure. Right? So you need to, constantly at practice be talking to your teammates and setting yourself up for, what is your biggest strength. And so I think just knowing that, and if you would rather have a skip shot, or if you'd rather have a shot come from outside, those kinds of things, and being able to direct your defense from there.
You talked about earlier being a mom, and I'm sure that's been a change. How has that kind of changed you, and maybe your kind of the way you operate? You're obviously heavily focused on water polo. 8 years ago, you talked about that 8-year career of water polo. I imagine this kind of adds a new perspective. In addition to being married, it kind of maybe adds many new elements to your life.
Yeah.
To say the least, putting it mildly. Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world, obviously. I mean, I think, it sounds so cliche, but I mean, you just, I hate being one of those people, but it's true. I mean, your life is, you're forever a changed person. And as miraculous as that is, it's actually really hard to go from being, such a high level performance-driven athlete to, being a new mom, I think you need to really loosen up a lot. Like I like to consider myself an easygoing person, but when I get in the pool, I'm pretty like thorough, and so I think I've just realized, I was saying this to my husband like in the past week, I think anything I do from this point in my life moving forward is never going to feel like done enough.
Yeah.
I'm so used to, like training in the pool as hard as I possibly can, like leaving nothing, you know, and now I'm just going to need to be okay if something doesn't have, as much time as I want to dedicate it to, because my son is, needs what he needs.
So if we needed you, you give us like a quarter and a half tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
yes,
gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
You'll hear me for a little bit.
Good enough. Looking towards Rio, obviously a lot of the talk is about the team repeating. You were part of that last team. Where do you keep your gold medal? How often does that come out? Are you constantly asked to bring that around?
It's funny, I actually just, so it's been at my parents' house in Michigan for probably the last year or so. I went, I had a couple events at the University of Michigan this past fall that I took it there for, and I didn't bring it back with me. I think I was just one of the time, I was pregnant, I was traveling with like a ton of stuff, so I just wanted to keep it there, knowing it would be safe. And then here, I keep it at home. When we travel, we have a safety deposit box that we put it in. But I have it close to me now, just knowing it's an Olympic year and knowing, I have had the opportunity to bring it out and show people, and they get really excited, so it's been fun to keep it close.
Very cool, very cool. And you mentioned Michigan, so last thing, they had a fantastic season.
Yeah.
Really in the mix there at the NCAA championship. As an alum, what's that kind of vibe for you to watch them play so well?
Oh, it's so exciting. It's really cool. I mean, it's so special to be, to watch that program grow and sort of start to knock at the door of that elite group, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time before they're playing for a national title, and with a athletic department like that, there's no reason why that team shouldn't be there.
We're going to talk to your husband here in a moment, who coaches locally here. Just from the work that you've done with ODP and being around his efforts, how do you see this area, maybe the Northeast in general, growing, and where can it go from here? Are there some obvious next steps to kind of get more people playing the game around here?
Yeah, I think Greenwich has set up such a good model for starting a program on the East Coast, and they've grown and they've become so competitive in the last 8 years. I think it's 8 to 10 years that they've been around now, and I think that we can really start to branch out, and I think we need to tap into New York a little bit. I think there's just New York is such a performance. I mean, it's the best city in the world, as you know. And I just think there's so many people there that want to be successful, and there's no reason we can't have a successful water polo teams coming out of there. And, I know Chris, my husband, was really involved with setting up a Connecticut state championship tournament and just, getting more kids playing in more tournaments and more games. And I think, the more we can work towards that, have, get that going in New Jersey, get that going in New York, start to really grow it, the more will come along.
Excellent. Well, Betsy Armstrong, we might see her later on the webcast here coming up at 7 o'clock, USA Hungary. Thanks for stopping by.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg.
All right, we'll take a quick break, come back with someone Betsy knows well, Chris Vidal. Stay with us here on The Counterattack.
USA! USA!
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
You never know where the next Olympian might be coming from, but it could be water polo. and that starts with Splash Ball. Splash Ball is a program for children ages 5 through 9 designed to introduce them to the sport of water polo while promoting water safety. Improve swimming skills and learn a sport you'll love for a lifetime. For more information, visit splashballusa.org.
USA! USA!
Welcome back here to Greenwich, and we're joined, our cavalcade of guests continues with the head coach of Greenwich High School here, Chris Vidal. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Chris, first we're going to have a little fun here. We get a lot of videos sent to us via Twitter. We're going to check out, someone sent us what they called a trick shot video. You know water polo. We're going to watch and see how much of this is really accurate. Let's take a look at this video here. Spinning backhand. Looks like there's maybe some potential editing here. Oh, he's going to try and drop. Oh, he missed. That still went in.
These kids are Steph Curry now.
Yeah, they're Steph Curry on them. Do you have some kids in your program here that try and make some wild shots?
I definitely have some kids. Little dude Robert, he's only 14 and unders. He likes to get fancy.
Yeah.
Danny Taylor.
Okay. Shout out Danny Taylor.
Yeah, definitely. I got a lot of kids who for some reason will call out Steph Curry and then shoot instead of being like Tony Acevedo, Jesse Smith, Luca Cupido.
Yeah. We have to better educate these kids. Luca and Tony make some wild shots.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. We just talked to your wife, so we're gonna try and mic up Frankie here maybe afterwards, see if we can get the full Vidal family on board.
That dude is lights out right now. It's that
time. Tell me first about what it's like to have an event here in your area, where you coach, where you are involved in club, to have the Olympic team here. What does that do for your athletes?
I mean, we got to see the Team USA. They had a 2-hour just practice today, and my kids were like, whoa, the entire time.
Yeah.
And my younger ones were just in awe by their size and ability, and then they'd come up to me and be like, we should do this. And I'm like, we do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as pretty, but I mean, we're trying to get there. But for the area, it's awesome. I mean, I know the tickets sold out super fast, and people are really interested in it. Not even like water polo people, just people want to see an Olympic athlete and just the team and represent USA. But the sport of water polo here, it's this like little hotbed, and people are really into it. But I mean, for me as a coach, I think this is awesome. It's the best thing ever at this point, you know, like outside of seeing like Betsy at the Olympics, like to have them here in Hungary, and it's amazing.
How do you take something like this and kind of extrapolate it to growth? So to make maybe another club start in this area, or to get someone playing more in the nearby New York area?
I mean, we have plenty of pools here. I think it's a knowledge-based thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's California people are playing it all the time, and you have collegiate athletes who leave it and move on to some before they figure out careers, or sometimes they make water polo their career. They're very active in it, and I think on this side, East Coast, we need more people with that knowledge to be a little more active. But I mean, seeing people like this, I think it's inspiring. I mean, for me, I'm like, man, I hope one day I could like produce an athlete like Maggie Steffens, Sandy Craig, KK, and be like, they started here with me, you know? I think it'd be amazing.
So as far as your high school team goes, we know that Greenwich is in, and the state of Connecticut is in kind of a different setup, maybe people in California or other states where they're used to having an obvious state champion. There are multiple public high schools that are playing. We've talked about this earlier. There's private schools playing. There are a couple of public schools. When you put your schedule together, you really have to be aggressive to go find games. I don't know if people really realize what goes into getting Greenwich a couple of games.
Greenwich High, I travel every weekend. Only time we're home is if we play my own club team, our high school team, because those boys that play here don't have a high school team, so we have a high school season in air quote world.
Yep.
And then we have Brunswick, which is definitely giving us some problems these years. But I'd love to see the sport grow. I'd love to just be able to play right in my own backyard, but we definitely make the best of it. We go to Canada, we go to Pennsylvania a lot. Maryland to the Naval Academy and play their club. And there's a good amount of Maryland schools that have water polo as well. So we end up playing everybody and anybody. So it is fun. I mean, I think for me, being from Florida, I remember when I went to college, I was like, oh, I get to see the whole Northeast. So I feel like for my kids, it's kind of like they get to leave their little area, and then they can kind of go see some other things. I think that's good for development too.
I just think about maybe the kids that play in the state of California in some places where they think of their league, and maybe the furthest drive is 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
But there's a different level of dedication to want to get in the van or get in the bus or whatever you guys do to get around to PA and down to Maryland and elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean my kids are definitely dedicated. They are doing homework on the bus. They're doing homework at the hotel. We have quiet hours, but they live and breathe this sport. And I mean, my seniors, we have a kid going to Harvard, 2 at MIT, 1 at Brown. We have girls going to University of Michigan. I mean, our kids are passionate about it, and I think their hard work throughout the years are paying off with having college coaches look at them and want them to be a part of their program for the future. So, I mean, they're doing a good job.
We're just talking with your wife, Betsy Armstrong. What is it like to have a gold medal laying around the house, an Olympic gold medal? Do you ever just kind of throw that on?
Well, I mean, the fun part about it is it's in a security deposit box, and it's her medal, but she can't touch it unless I'm there. So,
nice.
Yeah, so that
is it like a both keys in and turn?
Oh yeah, like in the bank, like you're not Chris Vidal, you can't have that medal. And but I earned that medal.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, sorry. But I mean, Betsy's so humble. Like you'd never know Betsy's even an Olympian or any of her accolades. But I probably boast more about like I earned it. But I mean, being at London, I mean, I feel like I was sweating, I was cheering. It was a workout. I did my part.
You did.
I definitely did my part.
As the Olympics are coming up, and we've been asking folks about kind of their emotions, whether it's being picked to a team or winning a medal or what may have happened in a previous Olympics. When you think back to London, what kind of flashes to your mind when you think back on those games and Team USA winning gold?
I mean, not for nothing, I will stand by this. Betsy's game didn't really turn around until I landed in London and when they were playing China.
Yeah.
But so I would say part of that gold medal is mine, going back to the medal.
Yep.
But I mean, memories of that place. I mean, just seeing the. I mean, like you see LeBron James like crying over his trophy.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know LeBron James, but like to see an athlete that I know and I'm in a relationship with and everything, and I understand the grind and the time and the effort and just the passion that her and her teammates have. Like seeing that was awesome. So I wouldn't say it's just London. It's like the build up to it, because it was like once that buzzer went off and the game was over, and you could just see like Betsy leave the cage and Brenda swimming at her, and Betsy's like, "Where's Lauren? I gotta hug Lauren first." And and it was really cool just to see how. Like you always hear, like, well, maybe one day if you work really hard, that'll be you. And it really was cool to see, like, some old wives' tale actually come true.
Sure,
you know?
sure. You played college water polo. I own
did.
it, correct?
Go Gales.
How many good quarters could you give us right now at a high level if we put you in the pool?
Me?
Yeah.
Am I playing?
You're
14
playing.
And under,
You're playing high level. You're playing your own age group. Maybe we bring the Hungarian men in here. Maybe it's a high level. Maybe it's Stanford men. High-level game.
At Iona shallow end?
No, we're talking all deep.
Oh,
big
buddy,
water.
You're killing me. I could probably leg up to my belly button once.
So an opening sprint and one shot from about 8 meters, and then you're done?
All right, so opening sprint, shot. I'll defend for a kick out, and then I'm done.
You're done. All right.
Done.
So you'd be kind of like a lacrosse, like face-off, get-off. You just get out there, do like 30 seconds, and you're out.
I mean, it was like a ongoing joke-ish between like Brian Kelly and myself when we were when just like getting the girls to nationals for NCAA.
Yeah.
And it'd be like Iona versus UCLA first round, and we'd be like, all right, here's the plan. Trick play right off the bat, score the first goal, call a timeout, take a picture of the scoreboard as a group just to show that we were up one, and then go from there.
I love a good trick play. I wish people more went to the underwater play. Any sort of trickery is fun.
I mean, my girls' team, I have another shout-out, Kaylee Alinsky. Anytime I call a timeout, she goes, fuzzy duck, and which is underwater play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we can't do that.
All right, well, we'll have to see if we can get Coach Krikorian to run a fuzzy duck here if things get out of hand tonight.
That'd be awesome.
All right, Chris Vidal, thanks for stopping by, and good luck with the Greenwich water polo scene in the future.
Well, thank you.
All right, we'll take one more timeout, come back with a social media send-off, and we're out of here. Counterattack live from Greenwich, Connecticut. We're back after this.
So, you've got your hard-earned money, but you're not sure where to put it. Well, one of the best things that you can do is put it into a credit union. Credit unions are like banks, only better. They offer higher rates of return, lower fees, and are safe and secure. And because they're not for profit, they're all about putting the people first. With credit unions, you're not just another face in the crowd, you're a member. And credit unions are member-owned and member-operated. Take control of your finances. Visit or contact Sea Air Federal Credit Union to find out all of the great reasons why you should join.
Welcome back here to Greenwich, the YMCA opening sprint coming up at 7 p.m. USA and Hungary. Watch live at youtube.com/USAWP. We close things out now as we do every week with our social media send-off, the best of what we have found water polo-wise on the internet. Don't forget to tag us using the hashtag counterattack. We start things off first with the trip to Miami. Ashley Johnson, great tweet here showing how much she loved the support that Team USA gave her, and then the city of Miami gave Team USA. Adam Krikorian, look at the view. This is from the deck at Ransom Everglade, Biscayne Bay, the football field in the background. Unreal. The arrival to Miami Airport, thanks to the folks at the Miami International Airport, they had a big cheering section on hand for Team USA, passing out hats. Great time had by all. The entire Johnson family on the scene there to cheer on Team USA as they arrived. Super cool, and local media on hand as well. And as you can see, the Miami International Airport, they were happy to welcome Team USA. Corey Callahan from the Orlando area making the trip down, 4-hour drive. He roots for the counterattack. Tony Azevedo, should he be the flag bearer at the Olympics? We agree. Team USA coming home with silver from China. And then we got Flop Fridays. Check this out, 680, they're all on the line. Some heavy commitment. That was a dive. That was a good one. That was just feet first. A couple of flops, a flop, feet first, a dive, that's a dive, and now vacation-style Flop Friday. Just because you're on a trip doesn't mean you can't commit. This is heavy commitment on these flops right here. Second one coming up, full layout on the vacation Flop Friday. How about a little daddy-daughter water polo, and the dads going in on these flops right now. Capped up and making it happen. That last dive there, that was partially a dive. It's also a dive there. That was a flop. That was a flop. Let's go, Dad. That was kind of a flop. Nice flop. Another one coming. That Dad committed. Partial dive. Bit of a flop. Pure flop. Last one in off the pole. We didn't see it. And now we had from Olympic Day at the World Aquatic Center. They set it up for a Flop Friday. Even though it wasn't a Friday, it was a Thursday. We'll take it anyway. They lined them up. We had a couple of dives in here. Folks, we say it every time. If you're not committing, we're going to call you out. You got to commit to the flop. Olympic Day celebration there. Beautiful sunset. Thanks, Navy AC, for sharing this one. The East Coast has some strong sunsets. And then the Snapchat. Be victorious. Thanks for sending that one in. Kyla on the Snapchat. That was a quick look at the best of our social media send-off. Don't forget to use the hashtag counterattack. That's going to do it for this live episode of the Counterattack here from the Greenwich YMCA. Opening sprint coming up 7 p.m. Eastern, USA and Hungary. Thanks to all of our guests. Narration Ral, Adam Krikorian, KK Clark, Betsy Armstrong, and Chris Vidal. And we will see you at 7 for the opening sprint. Don't forget, when you're on the counterattack, look weak side. Thanks for watching.